Ring of Honor on HDNet. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Monday episode, the 9/13 episode of Ring of Honor on HDNet. Just checked it out. First thing I gotta say, Austin Aries' shirt, "Make awkward sexual advances, not war," freaking hilarious. So, Austin Aries, you're even cooler now. So I definitely wanted to give him props for his ridiculous t-shirt. The first match on this show was the disgusting Rhett Titus against Christopher Daniels. Titus is so boring in the ring. He reminds me of like a Stevie Richards with less charisma. His gimmick is just so stupid, and his offense is really dull. Christopher Daniels looked great, and I really hope Daniels is on the path towards maybe fighting Roderick Strong for the world title coming up soon. Strong, of course, won the world title at Glory by Honor 9, but this match was okay. Christopher Daniels definitely saved it for me. He won with the best moonsault ever. There was a little bit of Austin Aries trying to interfere in favor of Rhett Titus, but it was what it was. The second match on the show saw Ricky Reyes, a former ROH World Tag Team Champion, and Aiden Chambers, a hot name on the independent scene, taking on House of Truth. This match was pretty short. Reyes looked really good. Aiden Chambers actually looked somewhat good too. House of Truth winds up winning pretty quickly. My problem with that is I still don't really understand a whole lot about House of Truth. How, the two guys in it, how do they stack up against the other competition? They're really just feeding off of Truth Martini's overness, and he doesn't have a lot of overness right now in my eyes. So these two guys didn't really do a whole lot to impress me, especially in a very deep and talented tag team division. I just really don't know how I feel about these two guys yet. I'm definitely willing to give them a shot, but I want to see more out of these guys. They got to start doing more on television instead of having these short matches against jobbers. Then we followed that up with a Davey Richards interview, it felt like a shoot interview. You never know how much of it's true, how much of it's written for the wrestler, but he used his own actual name in the promo in the interview with Jim Cornette, but it was very passionate and very driven, and it really makes you want to root for Davey Richards. Anybody who wants to see an amazing promo and an amazing storyline blended in with reality, that's the perfect example. Davey Richards knocked this one out of the park. I think he was so believable because he really was speaking from the heart and really did draw from actual emotions and actual events in his life to portray what he says is not his character. He's portraying himself, and I really do think that's true in many ways, and I think that the beauty of Ring of Honor is they're letting him do that. He's really portraying himself when he goes out there. He's obviously playing a character on a show that's written for him, but at the same time, it really feels like he is that person. He does a great job in the ring and then portraying the person that is Davey Richards. Alter ego, actual persona, whatever you want to call it. Davey Richards is freaking awesome, and mad props after what he said with Jim Cornette on this show. They followed that up with the American Wolves versus Super Smash Brothers. This was a fantastic match, one of the best matches on ROH TV in a little while, actually. Smash Bros were actually on the offensive a lot in this match. I really like the dynamic of the storytelling in that Smash Bros kept the Wolves from getting the offensive advantage through most of the match. They just kept doing whatever it took to keep the Wolves from gaining the advantage and swinging momentum completely in their direction, their side of the court. And I really like the way they pulled that off. The Smash Brothers are actually very good. I really like their work. They do a lot of tag team stuff that really comes off as very impressive, and individually they both have some very good skills. I'd love to see them used more, maybe even integrated into the ROH tag team division. And they had great chemistry with the American Wolves too. But, Wolves wound up winning this one. Fantastic match. Maybe at this point, it actually is at this point the match of the week. I haven't seen anything from Thursday or Friday yet, but it's absolutely the match of the week at this point. And then the main event was a lumberjack match between Austin Aries and Delirious. They're playing up the Aries versus Delirious feud. I think part of the reason why they went to that this week is because they did have a title change. The show was taped, I think, before the title change, so they couldn't really address that on air this week. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that's what went down. So, Aries versus Delirious is a definite side storyline. And, Aries winds up winning this one. Delirious is really coming off as kind of crappy because he doesn't seem to really beat Austin Aries. But they're going to have the blow-off of the feud apparently next Monday on ROH TV on HDNet. They're going to have a cage match. So that should be really entertaining. But this match, the Lumberjack match, was your typical Lumberjack match. The Lumberjacks wound up fighting each other. Most of them were the Embassy anyway, so of course everybody out there wanted to kick the Embassy's ass. The match was okay. It was okay. Daisy Hayes wasn't there either, which was kind of upsetting. They're putting her into the feud, having her even do some of the promos for Delirious, but not including her on the television program. So I know what they were trying to do and trying to accomplish. I just don't know if I think it came off all that great. But it was still a decent match, and I'll always root for Austin Aries and Delirious separately and in a feud together. So my thoughts on the show overall, I would give it 3 out of 5 stars if I was ranking it that way. A decent performance. Loved the Wolves versus Smash Bros match. But definitely had the most wrestling of any show this week, and I can say that before watching Superstars Impact or SmackDown, because I know that's the way it's going to turn out. So definitely liked ROH. Go ahead and check out my other video on Raw, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about next as well. Ugh.